Well, this is what I was talking about. It's hard to really see. I just want to judge it. I gotta take just a hair off this corner. Like I can almost see whatever it was they stuck on there and welded in place. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this corner down, but the overall thickness should be something like that. Where in this corner you see kind of a bulge. So it's just a little sliver. I'm going to knock that down, and I guess we'll come over to the cart and start on the next part. I'm modifying, changed it up from the original plans. With the help of a giant pair of pliers, I ended up sticking it in the vise and giving it a churn. After all, I didn't really like that little twist that it was doing. Just sitting here looking at this, seeing how I like it. I think overall, I think it's a good idea. I'm almost thinking I should send it down shorter, but at the same time I can adjust it and everything else. But I think it's going to sit kind of like that. So when it's all the way forward, actually, we could even get a little twisted back, so that way, yeah, that's probably what we're going to do. Give it a little kickback so that way it makes it easier for the feet to grab it. Let me just do a little adjusting and get right back with you. Did a little change up. I cut the bottom quarter of that corner radius off, and now that I stick it in there, it fits a lot better, which I think I like that. Got an actual pedal. I don't know, I thought about cutting this off, or if I do, I might just cut a sliver, but it gives me more area to weld, make it one continuous piece. I think that should work. What do you think? Here, let me put y'all back up here. Let's see, you should have a nice view of this. Pedal will be all the way up here. Go right there. Like I said, I still have a little adjusting to do, but for tonight, that's my basic idea. A little shorter than the other one. I could even cut it off here and drop it down a little bit lower, which I still might do. Only difference right now, it takes and kicks it out about 3/4 of an inch. If I put it straight up and down, it would not take away as much, but you know, that might be an idea. Why don't we bring it down instead of giving all that funky bend? Thinking something like that. The pedal itself is kind of kicked in, so I don't know. I might almost weld it up, and I'll take these big pair of pliers, grab it, and just give it a little twist. But I think overall, I kind of like the small pedal. Gives you a place to rest your foot, and well, that's the main reason. You got somewhere to really lay your foot. It's small. Your foot's able to slip off in case of emergencies. For me, I think it's going to be great. I think that's going to be the final pedal design. Just got to weld it up now, and then what I'm going to do is take the new throttle cable, because this is a lot shorter, and I'll even shorten it more, rerun it, hook it up, so now the motor that we can cut on or start using the key on the dash, we'll be able to actually accelerate using the pedal right here in the front. Well, being me, I can't concentrate on one thing too long, especially in a long, complicated build as this, or rebuild. And what I'm talking about is, I'm looking around the shop. I might have some good news for the shop. Well, I might actually be selling my house and moving the shop somewhere else, and we're getting a new shop out of the deal. It's going to be a brand new 30-foot by 50-foot building, 12-foot high sidewalls. So I'll almost triple, if not quadruple, the space I have now. But what I'm actually getting back at, and I'm sorry taking all off course, is trying with this project. I want to reuse a lot of the crap I've had accumulated over the years. So, you know, we've already went through the list of all this little stuff I've been reusing and putting a purpose to. And I see this air horn set. We got the little trumpets there. And in this box, years ago, I packed up the motor, the little relay, and I was going to use it on something else, and then it was going to go to something else. I think it was supposed to go to my Sanrail, but I decided I didn't want air horns. I have another set of horns which are yet still to be installed, but that's what I'm getting back to on this project. So I look at the way I packaged them up. I had both of the trumpets and the compressor. Still all the nuts and bolts. I've lost the instructions, but these are pretty well straightforward. So since I know I'm going to need some kind of, I want to put some kind of horn on here just for the hell of it. So I'm thinking about mounting these two. I'm thinking about mounting them like right up in here. And we can mount the compressor down here. So for shits and giggles, why don't we go ahead and do that? Let's mount these horns up. So what I got thinking of, remember there was an issue, yeah. There's an issue with one of the trumpets. This is a very cheap set from Harbor Freight. They kind of tend to want to slide out, but what I'll do is probably end up just super gluing them if that has to come down to the case. So what I'm thinking is, we're going to mount the trumpets right here. They'll be angled with the body, or they'll be angled lower than the front end body we're going to attach on here. So I think I've got the mounting locations for these, and I possibly might have some holes that were already in here. So I think what I'm going to do first of all is go ahead and try to attempt to put a hole in here to mount the compressor, and I think we're going to mount it right below the trumpets. Hopefully that'll interfere. Kind of keep everything right and right kind of tidy together. Let me see. I think the first part I should attempt is to locate the bolt that actually bolts the compressor down. I had just seen it a second ago, and like everything else lately around my shop, seems like it disappeared on me. There's only... Alright, let me check the workbench. I'll be right back with you. Well, I realize sometimes the best of things can be hiding straight out in plain sight. That was the case, why I couldn't find the little bolt. But now the hardest part, trying to figure out how to get this hole, because I'm on an incline. And I'm trying to drill it straight, but the bit wants to take it down. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and knock this hole out, and I'll be right back. Well, I couldn't get the hole up here, just the bit was walking. Couldn't even with a pilot try to get it even started. It kept wanting to slide. So I tried one over here. The problem is this piece is so thick, it's hollow, but I have to get the little nut on the back side of the bolt. So I went to the last resort plan, which is trying to mount the unit right here, and it looks like it just might work. So if I can just get the little nut started, I think we'll just go ahead and mount the little compressor right here, and I guess next work on trying to get the horns mounted, and the electrical is pretty well easy, and there we go, thank God. So I'll go ahead and finish tightening this down, which I could even put the compressor facing up. Nah, I think we'll just leave it sideways. I'll go ahead and get this tightened up, and we'll go ahead and try to get the horns mounted. Well, I've got it so far. One hole was available. I just drilled another hole, simple 2 bolts. Only thing I did was just take these, I'm guessing there's some kind of standoff spacers that were originally supposed to be used with this setup, or their accessory, I'm not sure. Mounted them anyway. The only thing I have left to do, which we'll go ahead and do this right now, is plug in the air line. Besides electrical, so far this part is seems to be almost pretty well done. Why is it the tubing always gives you a fit? But there we go. We got the trumpets, we got the compressor. I found in the box, which I must have packaged this several years ago, a piece of wire with a crimped end. So let's figure out. I believe that's going to be the positive, so this is a negative. We'll go ahead and clip that on. What I can do is feed this up through here, and I can ground out right to here, right to this, the ground for the key. We'll just run them together. So there's basically my grounding wire already set up. So the only thing I'll need to do is take the relay and wire that in with the switch that is down here by the foot. I'm not sure what it was originally used for, but it's a momentary, so that kind of is a good thing. We use a momentary inline with the relay, and now that it gives us the ability to honk the horn. So I guess what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this end, put a little crimped end on it, and go ahead and get the ground set up, and I'll start trying to figure out how to provide the positive power up here. Well, I figured I'd show the completest setup. Now, the power wire itself is not technically complete, but it is for right now for testing purposes. Got the trumpets in place, the same way I cut the roll of tubing. I had it pre-made from years and years ago. It fit. Ended up finding a perfect space to put everything right here. I've got my ground wire grounded down right here to the chassis ground. The power wire it comes up, goes through a hole that's naturally right here, and there's the red wire continues down to the back side of that switch, and it comes out of that switch back into the positive. What I'm going to do is actually have that more of on a fuse than a relay. This little motor doesn't draw that much power to need a relay, in my opinion. Now others might say different, but what I did is I just shoved it right here in this fuse holder for right now. I actually I'm gonna have a fuse block on the inside of this side, little glove box. But let me show y'all. This is the actual switch that was already naturally there on the cart. So besides the switch being there, throwing in something that I've had probably for 7 or 8 years, why don't we see what these things do? Come over to the push button momentary. Think that will get somebody's attention.